What's up? What's up? What's up? It's your boy Domuto. We back with another video. Today we're watching Saiyan with a Bardock race Kakarot Part 5 and 6. Yeah, so I hope y'all having a great y'all gonna have a great New Year's. You know what I'm saying? Make sure y'all drink responsible. And you know what I'm saying? Shout out to the 1,400 subscribers, bro. Yes, and more to come next year, man. Big things popping next year, and hope everybody else has a successful 2025 as well, man. Nothing but nothing but positive energy for 2025. And so we better get into it, man. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, and there you go.
King Cold tells Cooler to come at him with everything he's got. After all this time, he could finally get rid of that thorn in his side. And a battle begins between the two. Back on Yardrat, Bardock and his family could actually sense this. It seems like Cooler's there and he's fighting someone. That must be King Cold. But something weird happens during the battle. They sense Cooler's powers start to rise, significantly even. It's terrifying because there was no way they could defeat him before, but he has more power than that too? Back on that planet, Cooler begins powering up against King Cold. Cooler proclaims that no one will stand in his way. Not his father, not Frieza, no one. He actually planned on using this power against his brother, but using it to kill King Cold will still be pretty pleasing for him. King Cold watches on confused as Cooler begins morphing into something else. He grows in size, musculature, the structure of his face and body change completely. The ground below them cracks and explodes. Every soldier with King Cold is knocked away by the sheer power of this transformation.
Damn.
And King Cold is stunned with fear. Cooler has this kind of power locked away? This is even more than Frieza. Cooler's transformation finishes, as he probably lets his father know that he has one more form above Frieza's. This is his true maximum power. On Yardrat, everyone's frozen with fear. Cooler's not even near them. They're just simply sensing his power from that far away. And he's already having that effect on them. They have no hope against him. His power is just unfathomable. And within an instant, King Cold's power disappears too. Cooler killed him, seemingly with ease too. That terrifying power that they just sensed, it disappears as quickly as it showed up. That's all he needed. Just a few seconds. That was enough to defeat King Cold. It probably would have been the same for Frieza. And Bardock then sees a flash of something. A vision. It's very abrupt, lasting only a few seconds. But it terrifies him to his core. That small vision alone is enough to make him fall to the ground, catching himself, breathing heavily as he's kneeling there. He tries to describe what he saw. It was Cooler. It was that final form of his. Whatever power he had, that's what he just saw. And the worst part is, the fact that he saw that vision means that he probably will see this in the future too. They already saw the first one of Cooler, and now they see this one. And from what Bardock can tell, in both of those visions, it looked like he was on Yardrat. Now, they have no clue of when Cooler will arrive, but they know that he probably will arrive eventually. Vegeta says just like they thought. Those tricks that those Saiyans have, they won't work. He still can't really sense power that well, but from what they're saying, this guy's stronger than Frieza, leaps and bounds beyond that.
Damn.
And King Cold as well. None of them stand a chance. Kakarot wonders if the same strategy will work, but it probably won't. Cooler is stronger than Frieza, and he's probably a lot faster than him too, and he has a strong squad with him. Hitting him with Force Spirit Fission is actually going to be pretty tough. With Frieza, it was easy. He was in his first form. He was off guard, and the soldiers with him weren't particularly strong. If the Ginyu Force was there with him, that would have been a different story. And that's pretty much what's going to happen with Cooler. They're fighting a stronger foe, one that they're not going to hit with a surprise attack, and one who's actually going to have some reinforcements with him. He will be on guard, and Kakarot says there's only one thing they can do. They just need to get stronger, with pure strength, not just with spirit control and whatnot. Maybe having Vegeta and Nappa here is going to be a really good thing. They could be a wealth of knowledge for how Saiyans grow. Vegeta chuckles. That's exactly what he was thinking. Maybe he could warm up to this Kakarot guy, even though he gave off a bad impression before. And you know what? Bardock's fine with this too. He prefers to fight like an actual Saiyan anyways. He wanted a chance to defeat Frieza with his own strength, and this is his chance to actually do so, even if it is with a different person. They need to find out what it takes to become a Super Saiyan. That's what Vegeta has in mind. He obviously still has no clue what a Super Saiyan is, but he says a Saiyan that could surpass his limits and become that strong, he could become a Super Saiyan, being able to defeat Cooler with no problem. It's a legend that Bardock knows about, but he never really put much emphasis on it. He's had his own awakenings before too. He knows Saiyans can grow quickly in battle, like his battle with the Heaters from before. That power boost was significant, but still far too small for something like this. But he wonders if that's something like Super Saiyan maybe. Maybe it could be drawn out through willpower, rage, something like that. He has no clue though. And they still don't know what Super Saiyan is. Is it just an evolution of their base power? Is it transformation? There's only one way to find out. Train for it. Train for whatever they can. Grow stronger. And that training starts immediately. Vegeta thinks that he'll be the first to be a Super Saiyan. He is an elite after all. Maybe Nappa can do it as well. He doesn't know about these others. They are strong, especially by low-class standards. But he wonders if it's something exclusive to someone like him, an elite prince. But some of the others, especially that Kakarot guy, something about him, well, it makes Vegeta think that he's stronger than he lets on. And his sister, she seems to be the same way. We have a passage of time. Over a year goes by. Cooler's conquest continues, as he takes over more planets, expanding his empire greatly, taking whatever was left of the Frieza Force for himself. He still has no clue who killed Frieza, but it's not really a concern to him. Frieza was weak anyways, and he was probably off guard. Look at how easily he killed King Cole. If it's someone that's even just comparable to Frieza, that's still not really going to be a challenge for him. However, one thing sticks in his mind. He wonders where Vegeta and Nappa went. They got to that planet before him, and then they were not there. Maybe they killed Frieza themselves, but how and why? That wouldn't make sense. Why would they lead Cooler there if they were just going to kill Frieza themselves? And why did they seem so weak in the first place? He was having an easy time fighting them. Actually, it wasn't even him, it was his armored squadron. So it wouldn't make sense that they could defeat Frieza.
That is
and
true.
how do they leave so quickly and unnoticed?
Questions that need
Something
answers.
doesn't add up here. They still don't seem like a threat to him, but he feels like maybe there's someone out there, allies to those two Saiyans that he doesn't know about. And as he thinks about it, he remembers too, his brother is way weaker than him after all. Not to mention, it seems like the attack that happened, it was pretty quickly. It happened within a small time frame, and they could tell because the armored squadron detected it on their scouters. Someone must have just blitzed Frieza while he was in his first form off guard. But it couldn't have been those two Saiyans. They were too weak to do so, even if they did catch him off guard. But then he remembers, back a long time ago, when Planet Vegeta was destroyed, he was watching. And he remembers seeing space pods leave there. How could he forget? That's gotta be it. There's more Saiyans out there. He should have killed them while he had the chance. But maybe it's not that big of a deal. Maybe he could just kill them now. Even if they were able to kill Frieza, again, he was off guard. They had a quick sneak attack, which is pretty smart. It's not going to work against him, though. Over this time period, too, Vegeta's able to point out where more Frieza bases are. It is really tough to get them because they need to send some sort of energy there, but at one point they do find some soldiers in the Frieza Force in space. Or, now I guess they're part of the Cooler Force. A few of them teleport out, using those soldiers as a beacon. Then looting their resources. The most important thing that they need is healing pods. Vegeta suggests that this could really help their training, and they're able to bring it back to Yardrad. Now they have some for everybody here, which is a good way for them to grow stronger because now they can train more intensely and exploit Zenkais. Only to a certain extent, at least. Vegeta and Nappa don't learn any of the tricks here on Yardrad. In their eyes, it doesn't suit them right now. They are more focused on just raw strength and getting Super Saiyan, as well as coming up with a good strategy to defeat Cooler. Raditz is the only one who really gets more adept with it because he was kind of behind before and he was already learning it.
Okay.
The others are already very proficient with spirit control, while Vegeta and Nappa have no desire to learn it. Vegeta still can't believe they were able to defeat Frieza, but one thing's for certain, he'll defeat Cooler. But he still doesn't truly recognize the extent of Cooler's power. He wasn't able to sense it before, even if he's proficient at sensing Ki now. After this passage of time, a ship then arrives on Yardrad one day. Just as they expected, Cooler found them. They didn't know when he was going to show up, but he finally has. That anxiety that Bardock's felt this entire time, it's now over. He has his answer. He doesn't know how well prepared they are, but he thinks they are prepared enough at least. They could think of something. They could definitely get ahead somehow. We're also starting to get to a point where power levels don't matter as much in the story, so we'll just switch to normal scaling. Bardock is still the strongest of the group, with Kakarot not too far behind, and Ruda on equal footing with Kakarot. Then there's a gap between that, with Raditz and Guinea being equal, and a small gap with Vegeta being behind that, with Nappa being the weakest who has a decent gap between him and Vegeta. But Vegeta will pull ahead. As the ship lands, Cooler doesn't even step out first. 3 soldiers step out, the armored squadron. Vegeta simply sticks a hand out, eliminating all of them with one blast. A while ago, those 3 might have concerned him, but those clowns aren't a threat to him right now. And then Cooler slowly steps off the ship. Impressive, defeating the armored squadron that quickly. Granted, their power is nowhere near his, but still. These Saiyans might be a little bit tougher than he expected, and just as he thought, there are Saiyans here. And he looks around at the group seeing them. Interesting. He knows Vegeta and Nappa, but he remembers only seeing 3 space pods leave planet Vegeta. He has no clue where Raditz and Ruda came from, but judging by Raditz's armor, he was part of the Frieza Force not too long ago. But it seems one of the Saiyans here is unaccounted for. Not too surprising, honestly. He had no clue about the Saiyans for this long, and it seems like there's one big happy family with Bardock. With them having a new kid too. But he's glad that all the Saiyans are together in one place. That way, he can eliminate them all pretty quickly.
Oh.
This will be the end of the line for the Saiyans. A fight ensues as all the Saiyans team up against Cooler. And just as he expected, they're pretty strong and quick. Cooler knows that Frieza would defeat it quickly, but still doesn't know how. But if this was the strength he was up against, that kind of explains it. A group attack out of nowhere, that definitely will do it for him.
Yeah.
And Cooler's actually having a tough time defending against all of them. With so many fighting him at once, and with all of them actually being a lot stronger than before, this is going to be a bit tough. Cooler fights and moves so quickly that it's hard to get a good hit in, and when they do, it doesn't do too much damage. Collectively, they're overpowering him, but individually, no one can really overpower him at this state. Although Bardock, Kakarot, and Ruda are the closest, but still not close enough to Cooler's power. Force Spirit Fission won't be easy, but that's fine. They could just collectively overpower him, and as long as they kill him before he transforms, that's good enough. Bardock is still worried though. He did see the transformation, but he knows that he can change the future. He's gonna do that here. But Cooler suddenly stops fighting, and jumps back. Honestly, he has to commend their strength. He didn't expect Saiyans to be that powerful, although it's no wonder that they were able to defeat Frieza. He tells them that he's not done, and Bardock immediately knows what that means. He tries to launch a blast at Cooler, but it's already too late. He starts powering up, and the attack does nothing to him.
Somebody about to die. Somebody about to die.
Patient. He'll get to see the transformation soon enough. He's already that scared? Cooler's not even finished yet. The ground cracks below him. Fiery plumes of lava shoot out from below. The entire planet's shaking. Pybara is far away with the other Yardradians. Some of the warriors did want to jump in and try and help, but they knew they wouldn't be of any help here. Pybara just hopes that the planet will be okay. But he has hope in the Saiyans. A powerful glow surrounds Cooler as he then morphs, turning to a monster more terrifying than he already was. He smirks, once again taunting the Saiyans. A mask then covers his face as he's ready to attack. His first target is Bardock, the one who attacked him while he was transforming. He's the strongest in the group, and he disrespected Cooler by doing that. He won't let that slide that easily. Bardock assumes a battle stance, but before he can even do anything, Cooler immediately moves in front of him. Bardock can't even react in time. He instantly feels all the wind knock out of him as Cooler punches him right in the gut. There's a massive shockwave resulting from it. And Bardock is almost sent flying, until Cooler vanishes behind him, stopping him in his tracks as he spins around, whipping Bardock with his tail, sending him careening into the dirt nearby. Cooler then drops from the sky, stomping on Bardock. He lifts him up by his hair and then sticks out a hand in front of him, blasting Bardock far away. It all happens so quick that no one else can even react in time. Vegeta just stands there with complete shock. Guinea's furious and tries to locate Bardock's energy, just to make sure he's fine. And then she teleports away. She tells the others she'll be back soon, teleport away if they need. Kakarot and Ruta then attack Cooler from both sides, with Raditz jumping in too. They have direct hits with all their power, but it does nothing. The three even all jump back, sticking their hands out together in front of them, charging a massive blast launch right at Cooler, which he simply just whips away. Nearby, Nappa and Vegeta are just stunned with fear, with Vegeta even falling to his knees. They're duped. This is too much.
Nigga, Vegeta, come on.
Not too far away, Bardock is badly beaten, lying on the ground, almost unconscious. Guinea is there, glad that she found him, and he weakly tells her they need to retreat. He's too strong. This is unlike anything he's ever felt. There's no way they're going to defeat him now. They need more time. But what about Yardrat? This whole planet is going to be destroyed. Bardock says they could just get everyone to teleport away from here. The planet will be a loss, but they'll find somewhere else to go. He tries to chuckle, but is too weak to. He says it's a good thing that they have a planet where everyone could just teleport away if they need. And he's sure Pybara has it under control as well. He then passes out, with Guinea thinking of what to do. Should she get them all to leave? They might not have enough energy to teleport soon enough. Yeah, the other Yardradians might be fine, but her family. If they don't escape quick enough, they'll either die by Cooler's hand, or they'll run out of energy before they can teleport. Back on the battlefield, Cooler knocks Ruta and Kakarot aside, with Raditz barely able to teleport away and dodge. And he's quick with instant transmission now, trying to use that to trip Cooler up. He keeps teleporting around, acting as a distraction. But finally at one point, Cooler's able to predict where he teleports to, grabbing him as soon as he gets there, and shoving Raditz to the ground. That technique's a bit annoying. Why not fight like a real warrior instead of a coward? Under Cooler's foot, Raditz is barely able to teleport away, vanishing to where Guinea and Bardock are. He needs to recoup for a bit. That was so much damage, and Cooler barely even attacked him. But Cooler turns over to where Vegeta and Nappa are. He loves that look of terror on their faces. He could just tell. The fear that they're feeling is so great that they can't even physically move. It's so funny to see. Kakarot and Ruta are barely standing, and he commends them. For Saiyans, they are decently strong, but he's had his fun now. He defeated the strongest one, and he doesn't think fighting them any longer is going to be too fun for himself either. Plus, seeing the Saiyan Prince cower in fear like that, it's pretty nice. Cooler jumps up in the air. Kakarot and Ruta are scared about what he's about to do, and Kakarot then realizes he's charging an attack. Cooler lifts a finger up, and a large ball of energy begins charging above him.
Shit.
It starts as a small orange glow at first, but continuously grows in size. Where Bardock is, he's fading in and out of consciousness. All he sees is the orange glow. Not even sure what it is. No, this can't happen. He tells Guinea and Raditz, get everyone else to leave. All the other Yardradians, they need to go now. He wasn't strong enough. This planet's going to be destroyed. But he wonders if they'll even be fast enough to do that. He doesn't know when Cooler's going to launch the attack. And they'll need to find somewhere to go too. He didn't expect him to destroy the planet right away. And Raditz is angered. He knew this might happen, but he then has an idea. There's one shot at victory. Kakarot and Ruta are still in the fight. They just need to buy some time. And he sticks a hand out, at long range, launching all of his energy towards where Kakarot and Ruta are. And Guinea gets up and does the same, using Spirit Fission in reverse basically, giving those other two all the energy that they have left.
Okay.
It's small, but it'll help. Cooler laughs as he launches the Supernova, with Kakarot and Ruta desperately trying to defend against it. They each launch a blast back at it, and they can't push it back. But they feel a sudden burst of power, the energy that was lent to them. It restores them enough, but it's still not going to help them defend against this. The Supernova drives them further and further into the ground. And Kakarot sticks a hand out back at Vegeta and Nappa. He asks them. He needs some energy. Damn it. Well, looks like they don't have any other use for it. So they lend some of their power to them too. They try
I don't like how you got my nigga Vegeta a
but
bitch
suddenly,
out here.
there's a massive surge in power. The Supernova. It then is launched right back at Cooler. And in the nick of time, he's barely able to grab it, throwing it up in the air, as it careens off into space and explodes. But he looks down, seeing a golden glow below him. But that glow suddenly vanishes. There's no one left there. That supernova seems to have destroyed them, but then how did it get launched back? and Cooler hears two weird sounds behind him. The same sound he heard when Raditz was
Oh, the kids
He
got
turns
both
around
of
and
them got Super
recoils in
Saiyan.
shock. Standing there is Ruda and Kakarot, both with golden hair. Today's not the day he's gonna win. What's happened to them? They've changed. He has no clue what happened. But the sibling Super Saiyan duo wastes no time. The two of them punch Cooler simultaneously, with each of their fists going right through him. Then they start rapidly teleporting around him, delivering powerful attacks as they do so. Cooler's injured and completely disoriented. How could this happen? But he has no time to even think about what's happening. The two then appear below him, each with their hands stretched above them, and simultaneously they launch a powerful blast directed right up towards him, launching Cooler far away out into space, killing him. The two float there, and they barely have any energy left. They simply power down, falling to the ground below. They're the first Super Saiyans, and they don't even realize it yet. This is where we'll end off for now.
Okay.
Last time, we saw our protagonist come in contact with Cooler. Gine and Raditz teleport over to where Kakarot and Ruda are. Both have now fallen unconscious. Bardock is also barely able to get up, then coming over as well. What was that power that he felt? He saw a golden glow, but he didn't really see much else happen. All he felt was Kakarot and Ruda's energy spiking. But Vegeta butts in. There's no doubt about it. Those two, they became Super Saiyans. There's no other explanation. That power increase, that golden hair, that transformation. Super Saiyan must be that, some sort of transformation that Saiyans can get. And those two have done it. And with both of them still being unconscious, they might not even realize it yet. When they do regain consciousness, they're mainly surprised that they did win there. They thought they were done for sure, but no, they actually did eliminate Cooler. They're not sure how they did it, but they became Super Saiyans. And now, they need to figure out what to do to get that power back and maintain it. And with the two of them being how they are, the two immediately jump into doing that. They kind of think that it might have come out of a mix of sheer emotions and sheer willpower. Something with that, because that's what happened against Cooler. They have no other idea of how it might have been activated. They need it for themselves now. They need to try and figure out how to access it. And they also vaguely do remember how it feels to transform and to maintain it. They try their hardest to replicate, and try to replicate those same emotions they felt against Cooler. And eventually, Kakarot's able to do it, with Ruda doing it right after. Of course, they don't have perfect control over this. They barely have control in the first place. But now they know how to transform into it at least, and the next step is to learn to actually use it. But not just that, seeing if everyone else can get the same form as well. Of course, the rest of the family wants it, with Vegeta and Nappa also thinking that they need it too, but at the same time they feel like maybe they could discover it on their own. They don't want to stay around this family any longer. They kind of want to go off on their own. Especially Vegeta. If he's going to become a Super Saiyan, it's going to be on his own terms. He'll figure out a way to do so. He knows he can. He's an elite prince after all. He's definitely got that power in there somewhere. Gine gets more into training. While she wasn't really too much of a fighter before, all the recent events kind of pushed her into doing so. And not to mention, her whole family is fighters, so it's natural that they're going to rub off on her. And Bardock's pretty happy because not only is his wife now a new training partner, or rather a consistent one, but she's improved a lot as a warrior from when she last was one. Back when she was part of Bardock's squad, she wasn't really the greatest warrior, but now she's a lot better as a fighter, and he's glad to finally fight alongside her again, instead of only having her help a little bit in battles. And Bardock wonders, when is his family going to become Super Saiyans, if that's even possible? It might just be exclusive to Kakarot and Ruda. He doesn't know for sure. They still have no clue what Super Saiyan is. But Bardock has a strange vision one day. It's his whole family, standing together, and it almost looks like all of them are Super Saiyans. He can't tell for sure if that's what it is, but it does kind of seem like that. But it's weird because all the visions that he's had so far have been warning him of threats. Like, for example, Cooler. He saw that so long ago, thinking it was Frieza actually, but it did turn out to be Cooler, a new threat. And remembering back to it did seem like it was just Cooler arriving on Yardrad. The vision's very brief, and he wonders why he sees it in the first place. And he tries to take note of the location this time. He can't really tell where it is, but it's definitely not Yardrad. That's kind of strange. All the clues he has is that they can access that power, and they eventually will be able to, and it's gonna be on some other planet maybe. He just hopes they're not fighting some sort of terrifying opponent. At least one that's gonna bring about their death. But them fighting together as Super Saiyans, that's definitely gonna be pretty fun. He just wonders what's gonna bring it on, because it's definitely not gonna be anything normal. And now we enter a pretty sizable time skip. The family pretty much enjoys their lives as is. There's no threats out there for them to face. About 2 years pass in total. Frieza's army is gone. Cooler is dead. King Cold's dead. So there's nothing left to worry about with that army. Vegeta and Nappa are out there, but as far as this family's concerned, they're allies now. Raditz even got a scouter from them too, which is a pretty great way to contact them whenever he meets. Or vice versa. It's not like he's going to talk to them all the time. I mean, it's pretty awkward anyways, and he doesn't have a need to. But it's there in case anyone needs to contact them. And sometime after the time skip, sure enough, Raditz is contacted out of the blue, and he can't really believe it. He didn't really expect that, and he wonders if they need something. And they actually do need something. Vegeta and Nappa are on some random planet right now. It was one that was previously owned by Frieza, and they basically just use it as their own base.
Broly?
I mean, it's not like anyone else is living there or using it, and it's a good place for them to just stay for now. But somehow, someone was able to find them there. Vegeta and Nappa tell Raditz that they learned about something pretty strange. They were visited by what appears to be another Saiyan, and something's really suspicious about this guy. Apparently it has to do with them making some sort of new planet Vegeta, and he really has no clue of what's going on. He's mainly asking if Raditz knows anything about it, and then Raditz hears another man on the line, that other Saiyan that Vegeta was talking about, asking for them to come here. The more Saiyans, the merrier. It is a new planet Vegeta after all. Since Vegeta and
they doing
sure
OG
they can trust
Broly,
this
okay.
guy either, it will be better to have some allies with them. They power up, making the man kind of cower in fear of how strong they are, surprised at the strength of Vegeta. And then out of nowhere, a group then teleports in. It's not just Raditz, it's his entire family actually. They see a man kneeling there, looking surprised, not only at Vegeta's power, but to see these people just teleport here somehow. He clearly is a Saiyan, and he introduces himself. His name is Paragus. He's been looking for Vegeta forever, wanting to make a new planet in his name. They'll restart Saiyan society, and with all these people here, it's definitely going to make it even easier. There is one issue though. There's a Saiyan that's been attacking them, an evil Saiyan actually. So it's not just Paragus, but there's also another Saiyan out there apparently. Vegeta needs to defend his new throne, and Paragus needs his help. He also says he has his own son there too. And while everything seems kind of off-putting, the family isn't really too concerned because if they do encounter any sort of threat there, they're more than confident in their current powers. And Vegeta kind of guessed that too. He and Nappa have grown a lot stronger since they last met. Honestly, the main reason that Vegeta contacted Raditz is because if he needed to get out of there, being able to teleport out of the planet is a pretty good way to do so. For all he knows, he could be walking into some sort of trap. Or flying into it, I guess, because now the ship takes off, heading towards that new planet Vegeta. Of course, Paragus is leading him into this trap. He has a pretty good trap for Vegeta, and it's good that the others are getting involved too because they seem to be his lackeys. Either way, the only thing he really wants is for Vegeta to die. And it seems like he is going to get that wish. And once they arrive on the planet, they meet his son. Or at least they kind of meet him because Paragus keeps him away.
OG Broly.
Who looks to be a pretty, well, not intimidating Saiyan. He's not very talkative and he seems kind of weak on the surface. Except at one point when Kakarot and Bardock notice something. When they lock eyes with Broly, something snaps within him. He seems to start getting angry, and they're not sure why. Is he just like sizing them up or something? No, that can't be it. It has to be something else. And Bardock tries to remember. Broly. Where did he hear that name before? Paragus is able to control Broly at first, but Bardock begins racking his mind trying to remember where he heard it.
Oh, yeah.
And he feels like he might have heard it when Kakarot was first born. Like, right away after he was born, he was in a nursery with one other Saiyan. That might have been where he saw the name Broly. In case it's not clear now, we're going with Z Broly for this one and not Super Broly. But he wonders why Broly seemed to get angry when he saw them. Even Ruta he was somewhat angry with due to her resemblance to Bardock.
You ain't got to give him the same backstory.
Because Bardock thinks something is wrong here. Everything about this doesn't seem right, but especially that Broly guy. And at one point, it's too much for him to control, especially with all these people that look like Kakarot, especially Bardock, who literally just looks like the spitting image of him. Paragus tries his best to calm Broly down, but doesn't work. He can't control the power. Broly can't contain it, and they realize a fight's about to break out. And Kakarot's ready for it. He'll stand up against the Saiyan because he doesn't think that he's going to be any sort of a challenge. But that power, he starts to feel it, and he realizes that this guy might be stronger than he looks. Paragus begins panicking and immediately runs away, trying to see if he could escape. He already knows they're doomed here. Well, at least Vegeta's going to die. If not from the comet, then it's going to be from Broly. Broly powers up, surrounded by a fierce green orb. He bulks up considerably. First with his hair taking on a bluish hue, and then fully transforming as it turns greenish almost. The family stands together looking on in awe. Is this a Super Saiyan? This can't be. This doesn't look like it. And for a moment, Vegeta freezes. But he knows that this time he can't freeze again like he did against Cooler. And he simply just mutters out the words, Legendary Super Saiyan. That's what this guy is. He's no normal Super Saiyan. Well, normal relative to what a Super Saiyan is.
You ain't dealing with your average Saiyan
everyone
warrior
knows.
anymore.
Vegeta is then surrounded by his own fiery orb, transforming into a Super Saiyan himself, with Nappa also following suit. Raditz chuckles at the sight of this. So, they did access it after all. Well, it's only more proof that this guy's a freak because their Super Saiyan looks exactly like Kakarot and Ruta's, as well as the form Raditz, Gine, and Bardock have. Bardock's entire family powering up, showing off the same exact form. Kakarot and Ruta aren't the only Super Saiyans anymore. And even though this guy seems insanely powerful, with them banding together, they should be able to defeat him. Kakarot tells Vegeta they'll deal with this guy, and he asks him to go get Paragus. But Vegeta turns to Nappa, then commanding him to go off and find Paragus. Vegeta's not going to abandon this fight. He can't be embarrassed like he was against Cooler. And Nappa just follows Vegeta's orders, going after him. Bardock laughs himself too, not surprised that they have it as well. As Nappa rushes off, aiming to kill Paragus pretty quickly. He kind of knows that he's going to be outmatched here, but at least he can get rid of that one guy for trying to trap them here.
Right.
A nice little piece of vengeance for that disrespect.
Putting a
Broly
lotion on
wastes
my
no
feet,
time
guys.
too.
Sorry.
Once he's fully powered up, the onslaught begins. He shows off the power of a true legendary Super Saiyan, with his power growing as he fights. It doesn't stop. And at first it seems like the group is able to fend him off, but no, he's growing stronger. And Bardock thinks this makes no sense. He's supposed to be some incredibly powerful Super Saiyan, but how's he facing 6 of them at once? But Vegeta notes something interesting. He seems volatile. By now, everyone has a decent grasp on Super Saiyan. It's not like it's mastered and they have grade 4, but They have a really good grasp on it and can control it at least, and they've powered it up significantly. But it seems like Broly's not the same way. His Super Saiyan continues powering up, and he's almost like a ticking time bomb. Vegeta thinks that this form might be different. From what he knows about the legendary Super Saiyan, his power is bottomless. And that might bring on Broly's own demise. They just need to hold out against him for now. They might not be able to defeat him with their sheer power alone, but that's easier.
Always
said than
fun.
done,
I still
because
fuck with the
Broly's attacks are
OG
just way too much to
Broly
handle.
movie.
Nappa eventually does
Even
find
though
Paragus,
the
killing him,
motive is
and stopping
trash.
him from escaping the planet, as he also finds a spaceship there. But he looks up in the sky and notices something strange. There's something rapidly approaching them.
It's still
he
a
saw it
good
in the sky
watch.
before, thinking it must have been some sort of faraway moon or something, but it's grown larger.
But
There's
that Super
a
Broly is
comet
fire.
approaching the planet, it looks like. Before it was
Sorry.
too small to notice, and now everyone's too preoccupied with Broly, but Nappa could see it clearly. With every second that passes, it grows larger and larger in the sky. He needs to let them know. Nappa flies over to the battle, seeing everyone pretty badly beaten up by Broly. Then he lets them in on the news. They need to get off this planet. Can't those other guys just teleport away? Well, they can, but they kind of need an opening to do so. They know where to look for Yardrat, but they just need some sort of time to focus on it. Broly is far too distracting, not just with him attacking them, but his power is just so high that they can't really sense anything else out there. This is worse than they thought. They're gonna have to find some sort of way to get away from him, or a way to defeat him. And the former might actually be the harder option. But Gine has an idea. Well, if he is a ticking time bomb like Vegeta says, why don't they just set that bomb off? One powerful attack. That's all they need. But how's that supposed to work? They can't even defeat him as is. But she has a great idea. They just need someone to land the finishing blow. And Bardock knows exactly what she means. And he looks to Kakarot. He's the strongest of the group as of now. Bardock's been trying to catch up, but he knows Kakarot's taken the mantle, and he wants him to do this. Kakarot still doesn't know what's going on. But Gine explains. Force Spirit Vision isn't really
This
gonna
nigga
work
about to
for
turn into a
Bardock
Super
before.
Saiyan
So instead
God.
of taking Broly's power, why don't they just separate their own power and give it to someone else? Basically using Force Spirit Vision in reverse. They've done it before to fuel Kakarot and Ruda against Cooler, but this will be different. Kakarot needs to charge one massive attack, and Bardock asks him to channel the energy. It's one hell of a gamble, but it should work. Kakarot holds a hand out in front of him, and then jumps back. He raises that hand in the sky, telepathically communicating with them all. Lend him that energy. The family continues fighting Broly alongside Vegeta and Nappa. But as they fight, they use Force Spirit Vision on themselves to lend energy to Kakarot. And it's kind of tough to steal some from Broly, but they are able to take a little bit from him. This is basically using Force Spirit Vision in reverse. While they are taking some energy from Broly, most of it is just them sending their own energy out to somewhere else. Vegeta and Nappa remember this against Cooler, and reluctantly do give Kakarot some of their power, thinking that this is the best shot of it working. Broly looks around trying to find Kakarot again, but Ruda and Bardock take his focus. Fine then, he'll kill those two first, and he'll make Kakarot watch everything as well. He knows Kakarot's there somewhere. He's gonna make him suffer, as well as everyone else around him.
Kakarot.
And Kakarot's not gonna get away with this. His power continues growing, it's maximum, and these other Saiyans aren't gonna make it out of here alive. Kakarot continues charging energy. He's surrounded by a brilliant blue glow, with all the energy flowing into his hand, and then he holds his hand out in front of him, seeing a ball of energy.
Oh wait,
charged
he
in.
ain't. Wait,
He
they're not
grasps it,
pure-hearted.
with all the power flowing into it. His hair flows fiercely. His aura grows more intense, gaining a blue hue as well. He could barely contain this power. Is this what Broly's power feels like? Being able to barely contain all that energy? He can't think on it for too long. All he knows is that he has to use this power against Broly while he has it, before it all leaks out. He teleports back into the battle, with Broly glad to finally see him again. Now we could slaughter Kakarot for good. He charges into Kakarot, with Kakarot blocking his attack with a single arm. And Broly can't believe it. He actually felt pain from that. But Kakarot blocked his attack. He didn't attack him. Why did that hurt? What changed about him? He shouts. His aura flares up once more. And Kakarot says this is where it ends for Broly. And now, he finally remembers. He knows why Broly's mad at him. He remembers that brief moment where they're in the nursery together. Saiyans do have a great memory after all. And he taunts Broly. If
Do
his
they?
crying annoyed Broly as a kid, then Broly's probably gonna get really annoyed with what's about to happen next. And Kakarot's kinda glad to stick it to it. He jumps back, planting his feet firmly on the building nearby, using it as a footstool to launch himself off of, rocketing towards Broly at massive speeds. Broly whips his hand back, charging an attack, throwing it right at Kakarot. But Kakarot jumps right through it, with a fist out in front of him, cutting cleanly through Broly's attack, and then charging all his power into his fist right as he hits Broly, hitting him right in the spot where he was stabbed as a kid. Kakarot punches clean through him, and a deep blue glow fills the area. Broly's aura dissipates, and then is replaced by a fierce blue one. Broly's launched to the sky, and begins warping. The green and blue energy surrounds him. He can't contain it anymore. Kakarot's attack. It was a critical blow. Kakarot then tells everyone they need to get out of here. They all fly away, as far as possible, as Broly explodes in the distance. The meteor is getting closer and closer to the planet, but they still can't sense Yardrat. Broly's own energy is blocking it, especially with that attack that Kakarot launched. And as they're flying, it hits Bardock. That was his vision. That's what he saw. They would all stand together as Super Saiyans against a common enemy. But still, they're not able to get away from the planet. Although, there's one course of action they could take. The group all stands together, exactly mirroring Bardock's vision, except this time with Vegeta and Nappa. This comet won't defeat them, and they charge all their power together, launching a collective beam at the comet, completely disintegrating it.
Okay.
Not only saving themselves, but inadvertently saving all the inhabitants of this planet too. And just as the comet's destroyed, Broly's energy fully dissipates, and they all power down. Vegeta says they didn't really need to do that, and Kakarot partially gets it, but also wanted to do it on a whim. Plus, he did have some extra power to get rid of. It would have been a shame to let it go to waste. Wait, he still had extra power? How strong was that attack he used against Broly? Well, they probably won't truly know. And this is where we'll leave off for now.
Okay.
What did you guys think about this part? What's going to happen next time? Leave your thoughts.
Man, shout out to Charlotte Saiyan for this video, part 5 and 6 of what if Bardock raised Kakarot. I fucks with it. I can't wait to see where the story takes, where the story goes and stuff, man. This is gonna be fire. So anyway, make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, and check out the last chapters right here. And I'll catch y'all next time, man. Peace.